welcome to the Craft Beer Corner. For today's beer review, we're jumping into one of the Chonk series beers from Drekker. We've had several of these. This one I did get from Tavour, as I have gotten all of mine personally. And this one, when it popped up, sounded like one of the more interesting ones. So I grabbed it immediately. This one is, Chonk. They all start with that line in this style of beers, pumpkin spice latte, and they call this a Sunday sour. So it's going to be a smoothie sour ale. This one clocks in at 6.9% ABV. Drekker is based in Fargo, North Dakota, and the specific additives in this one, it's a long list. It's got pumpkin, vanilla soft serve ice cream, cream of coconut, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, coffee, vanilla, and lactose. So quite a long list, and yeah, I think that they named it appropriately for what they added to it. I've never had a pumpkin spice sour, but in kind of a pumpkin spice coffee sour, this could be a very, very interesting beer. So as with all of the other beers in their Chonk line, they've got some very interesting label art. This one has a cat on the front with some clearly pumpkin spice theme coloring on here. Not much else to talk about in terms of label art, so we're just going to get this cracked gently. Okay. We're going to use our nice all-purpose tall glass here. Get this poured right in. Oh yeah. It's pouring quite a lovely color. It does look quite thick as it's pouring out. Okay. Definitely some solids left in the bottom. Not a problem there. That way we won't get all of that muck messed in here. Probably could have done a little bit better job at giving it a gentle tilt, but that's okay. Yeah, it looks quite nice. It looks quite thick. I can see very tight, fine, tiny carbonation that is almost suspended, slowly rising in this beer. It's so thick. If you've had any of these Drekker Chonk beers, you know exactly what I mean. They are indeed very, very thick. This one did form a little bit of a head, so let's get right up over this, get a full sniff. Yep, wow, okay. So you can definitely smell the sour on the nose. I'm getting a big mix of a lot of these different aromas from the additives they put in there. The cinnamon and the allspice and the nutmeg are very clear. Yeah, the coffee's got a little bit of a hint and a touch of the vanilla. That's about the extent of what I'm really smelling, but it does drive dominant forward with that sour aroma. That's the big main driver, and then just a bunch of the additives underneath it also make their presence known. So it looks great. It smells great. Let's just jump in and see what this one's all about. Take one. Oh yeah. Oh wow. That's a really good beer right there. Wow. Yeah. I'm not disappointed. This tastes almost exactly what I was thinking it would be based on their description, and it's wonderful. So if you've had any of these Chonk beers or you've watched any of our reviews of them, you know that they definitely have good substance to them. 6.9% ABV, that's on the higher end for a sour, and it feels like a thick beer. It looks thick as you're pouring it, it feels thick. This is a thick, weighty, heavy beer. It is a smoothie sour style, after all, it should be. In terms of the mouthfeel, it's also very resistant, very viscous. The body and the mouthfeel both feel exactly as I expected for this beer. In terms of the flavor profile, it's very, very nice. So there is a definite sharpness on the nose of the souring, and then a lot of the other additives make their way known in the aroma profile. In the flavor profile, yes, there's a little bit of that sour that you get on front, but it's not astringently sour. It's rather milder, but it's just packed full of flavor. So you do get pretty much everything they added in here. The big ones that jump immediately out to me are the coffee. I wasn't sure how pungently that was going to pop through or cut through the laundry list of other additives, or if indeed the balance was going to be off and it would be way too coffee laden. I got to say, before we even talk about all the flavors that popped out, the balance on this, top notch. So yeah, the coffee, very clear, very present, but it doesn't override the other flavors. You can get the subtlety of the cinnamon, the nutmeg, the allspice, the vanilla. It's really all popping through. Pumpkin, yeah, of course it does taste pumpkin-y, but when you're mixed with all these other seasonings, it just really does put you in mind of pumpkin spice. So all of this, everything but the kitchen sink, we could almost call, just give it the same generic heading like they did in the title, pumpkin spice. So yeah, pumpkin spice latte, appropriately named, that's exactly what it tastes like. And I can answer the question, what would a pumpkin spice latte flavored sour be like? Well, it's delicious. It's delicious. This beer is exactly what I was hoping it would be, and in the best way possible. So I'm going to jump back in for a second sip, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then we'll come back, talk a little bit more specifically about the balance and the finish. But on first sip, this is a truly delicious beer. Take two. Good presence. Nice sour up front. Nice little kick. And of course it has that lactose, so you do get a nice sweetness. And it's not a sweet beer, but it's sweet to the point that it lets all of their flavor additives pop out and taste as they should. That's the key with good balance on lactose. And I'll always come back to that on a beer with a lactose addition. And they did a tremendous job on this beer. So yeah, you get that nice little kick of sour up front. You get the coffee, you get the pumpkin spice. What I did not get on first sip that I can also confirm and clarify is indeed quite present in this flavor profile as well is they did add cream of coconut. You can taste the coconut in there. That's a really nice, touchy addition that is not something you would typically see added in a pumpkin spice blend, but it works really, really well in this beer. It just adds this other layer of complexity that almost ties everything together cohesively, especially in the sour beer style format. It's very, very nice. So in general, the balance, fantastic. There's nothing in here that's vying for attention. It all has its own voice, its independent voice. Sure, after you get the initial pops of, oh, there's the nutmeg, oh, there's the cinnamon, there's the allspice, there's the vanilla bean, you know, vanilla soft serve, obviously funneling into that same vanilla flavor theme. It really does almost take on this cohesive, like, pumpkin spice element quality to it, and that just interweaves with this nice souring and the nice underpinning of the coffee. It's very, very nice. The balance on this is fantastic. Everything pops through exactly as it should, and to my palate, it tastes beautifully executed. In terms of the finish, so this is a sour. It's not astringently sour, but it is packed full of big flavors. So it is longer than your average smoothie sour would typically be, but it's not super, super long. I'd say it's on the high end of average. Maybe teetering on slightly above average, high end of average, slightly above average, somewhere in that window, but it's very, very nice, and it feels appropriate for the beer. So yeah, my verdict on this one, this is delicious. If you're a big fan of the Drekker Chonk beers, or maybe you've never had one, but you like smoothie sours, definitely keep this in your lineup, especially if you're a fan of pumpkin spice and or pumpkin spice lattes or other coffee beverages. This is a home run, guys. I'm going to take my time sip on this, come up my scores. When we come back, we will get this beer ranked from top to bottom. All right, now that we've gotten to enjoy this beer, we're going to get it ranked. This was Drekker Brewing Company's Chonk Pumpkin Spice Latte, a smoothie sour ale clocking in at 6.9% ABV. Drekker is based in Fargo, North Dakota, and this one had additions of pumpkin, vanilla soft serve, cream of coconut, cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, coffee, vanilla, and lactose. A laundry list there, but the additions really did make it taste exactly what they were going for. Guys, this was a really, really good beer. I've had quite a few of these Chonk beers from Drekker. All of them that I have tried have been great, all distinctly different. This was one that I thought might be interesting because I've certainly never had a pumpkin spice flavored anything sour. This was the first one, and it was an absolute home run. If you're a fan of pumpkin spice stuff or pumpkin spice lattes in particular, and you also happen to like sour beers, you're absolutely going to love this. This was one of those beers that nearly swept it in all categories, guys. Just one that did not get a perfect score, and that category was the finish. So the finish on this was nice. It was really just kind of high-end, maybe bordering on slightly above average for kind of what I expected based on the flavor intensity. But look, it is what it is. It didn't detract from the beer drinking experience whatsoever, but the finish does get a 6, which leaves a perfect 10 out of 10 in the remaining 9 categories. That's aroma, taste, body, mouthfeel, head and retention, appearance, balance, feeling/intangible, my subjective thoughts category, and example of style. So the total score on Drekker Brewing Company's Chonk Pumpkin Spice Latte is a 96 out of 100. Guys, a very, very high score indeed for a very, very delicious beer. Can't say I've ever had a sour quite like this. Didn't actually know if the whole pumpkin spice thing would work in a sour format, but I am pleased to report that yes, it does. If you're a fan of all things pumpkin spice, this is one you're definitely going to want to try to get. I got mine from Tavour. Just search around, see if you can find it. You are not going to be disappointed. Folks, that is today's review. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you tuning in today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to stay in the loop when our videos go live, just turn on your notifications, hit the bell icon. It's right next to the subscribe button. Until next time, keep it beer, keep it craft. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.